Hello guys, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. My name is Becky. You can see my name down there. There's also a couple of different email addresses that you can get hold of us on. Let me just make the Becky one slightly bigger because that's my one. So you can email me on that if you have any questions. If you're watching recorded, of course, you can email. There's also another place you can go to ask questions, which I'll show you in a second. Or you can email support@tradictive.com as well. Now let me just make sure that we cover the disclaimers. There they are, top left hand side. Please read them. I won't read them to you. So if you pause the video, or if you need to pause the video, by all means do that if you want to read the disclaimers. Now, the 3D market commentary is a video that we do every day, Monday to Friday, to give context to an email that we send out to our free members. So I'll get to that in a second. Remember I said that there's somewhere else you can go to ask questions, so we'll take you there now. That is tradewithufos.com/Becky, which takes you here. From this link, you can get different platforms and apps. You can scroll down and get one-on-one coaching if you'd like. You can also scroll down here, and this is the place to put questions, log in for free, and then you can place questions on this area, which allows us to see the questions and answer them publicly. So what that means is other people can see the questions, other people can see the answers, and we can all come to this place to learn. You might notice that there are some questions here that you might not have thought about that would be useful for you to know, or perhaps the question that you're looking to get answered has already been answered in this area. So that's where we'd like you to go for questions. If not, you can email me if you're more comfortable to do that. Okay, so coming on to the 3D market commentary. So I said we send out an email every day. That's what it looks like. And of course, relevant to market data. So we'll bring that up as well. Let's give the charts a bit more room than the email. Okay, so it's a 3D approach. Let me just move that over as well. It's a 3D approach because we look at 3 different elements per market. We look at 5 major world markets, and for each of them, we want to understand the probabilities and statistics related to those markets that's helpful for us to know as traders. So the first element that we look at is called market climate, which is essentially what's the upcoming market direction? Is it likely to go up? Is it likely to go down? Or is it not really likely to go either direction? And so from that, we have an idea of whether or not we buy, sell, or do nothing. We use an app to help us. It's called the AutoClimate app. And this app tells us where we have probabilities. So ignore the lines, focus on the dots. If we have a thick blue dot in our AutoClimate, that tells us probabilities up. If we had a thick red dot on our AutoClimate, that tells us probability down. If we have a thin dot of either colour, that tells us probability is in either direction. In which case, we do nothing in that scenario. So we use AutoClimate, which is a free app on most platforms you can get it on, to help us answer that first question. Then we want to know, yes, we might have decided whether or not to buy or sell, but the question then is, where do we buy and where do we sell? Now we want to know where the closest stacks of buyers and sellers are. Why? Because lots of buyers are likely to push price up, lots of sellers are likely to push price down. So again, we use an app called AutoUFOs to help us find these unfilled orders. That's what UFO stands for. Essentially, we're using an app to show us where lots of buyers and sellers are. If we see these little green UFOs, that shows us where the buyers are. If we see these little red UFOs, that shows us where the sellers are. So again, gives us an idea of where we're going to buy and sell specifically. And we'll look at market volatility, which is how quickly we expect the markets to move. So we'll look at each of these elements per market, starting here with the S&P 500. So let's bring that up. Now the S&P 500 is the top 500 US stocks. And what we have here is a thick red dot, probability there to the downside. Now we have sellers here at 4671.75 to 4606, and we have buyers down here at 4123 to 4055.50. Overall, we have probability coming from the downside. We're not very close to either the buyers or sellers for them to make a difference today. So what we have is probability to the downside coming from the climate. Now, by the way, every market we're looking at is on a daily chart. Of course, different things happen on different time frames. We're focusing on daily time frames. So in terms of volatility, we might expect that the S&P 500, the top 500 US stocks, would go up or down within 1 year of 26.84%. So in a day, that's 75.35 points. In a week, 165.87 points, up or down. And in a month, 345.29 points, up or down. So that's the S&P 500. The next market, if I can get, there you go. The next market is crude oil. Now, before I load that, just to bring your attention up here to the different courses we do courses in futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, and psychology. So check those out depending on what works best for you. Now, most of our courses come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps. Now, AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms. You can use it on anyway. But AutoUFOs is a paid-for monthly subscription. You can subscribe directly to it. You don't need to do a course in order to get access to the AutoUFOs. You can subscribe directly to use them. The price depends on which platform you use. However, if you purchase a course and you get 3 months free access to the apps, it actually normally works out cheaper to do that than it would be to just get the apps. So check that out and see what works best for you. So coming back here to oil, we have a thick blue dot here, probability upwards. Now, something to bear in mind with this is that we are very overextended, meaning we have gone much further in terms of longevity to the upside than what is normal. It would usually go up for 7 candles in a row, and we are on candle number 21 to the upside. So 3 times as much, or we've moved 3 times as far to the upside as what would be usual. So bear that in mind. We are overextended. However, we do still have probability upwards. We've still got that thick blue dot telling us probability is up, but just bear in mind we're overextended there. We've got no sellers in the market that we can see, nothing there. We have buyers here between 80.47 to 77.83. Overall probability up there for oil. In terms of volatility, we might expect in 1 year that oil would move up or down by 41.15%. So in a day, that's 2.18 points up or down. In a week, 4.79 points up or down. And in a month, 9.98 points up or down. So that's oil. The next market is gold. Now, as I load gold, just to remind you guys that we offer a bunch of coaching and support on different platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. We also have a closed coaching platform as well. So check that out depending on what's best for you. But we do a lot of coaching and support for free. So gold, we have a thick blue dot upwards. Now, we have a little bit of a fight going on at the moment because we have probability up coming from the climate. We also have buyers beneath us at 1829.3 to 1804.7. That price came in, hit those buyers and was pushed up. That's what buyers do, is push price up. That's why we want to know where they are so that we can then decide to buy with them if it matches our trade plan. So we've got buyers that are already pushing price up and we've got the climate pushing price up. But what we also have are sellers here between 1873.3 to 1844.2 that are already pushing price down. Price came into these sellers and was pushed down from there. So what we have, sellers pushing down and buyers pushing up round about the same price. So overall, what we've got is not enough probability in one direction or the other because we've got competing forces around about the same area. So I would say keep out of it. Let price do what it's going to do. Let us clear a path one way or the other, up or down, and then we can decide what to do from there. In terms of volatility, we might expect that in 1 year, gold would go up or down by 15.09%. So in a day, that's 17.44 points. In a week, 38.39 points. And in a month, 79.91 points. Again, either up or down. Okay, so that's gold. The next market, I can't quite. I think I'm going to have to move this over a little bit so I can grab it. There we go. So the next one is the US dollar. Okay, so with the US dollar, we have a thin dot. That tells us not enough probability either way, nothing to do. There's no point trading something that doesn't have clear probabilities. Now we do have sellers up here at 96.67 to 96.33. We have buyers here at 95.335 to 95.03. At the moment, not close enough to either stack of them really for them to make a big difference today. Overall indecision there with the US dollar. Now we'd expect it to move up or down in 1 year by 5.87%. So in a day, that would be 0.35 points. In a week, 0.78 points. And in a month, 1.62 points, either up or down. Okay, so the last market is backed Bitcoin. As I load that, just to point your attention down here to our platform, TOP. It stands for Tradictive Options Planner, but it's also useful if you trade stocks or futures as well. So check that out. So backed Bitcoin, we have a thick red dot, probability there downwards. Now we have sellers up here at 47,610 to 45,705. And we have buyers down here at 32,820 to 31,615. Basically, we're in the middle of those, quite far from both of them, unlikely that either of them have impact on the market today. But what is having impact on the market is the climate pushing us down. So probability down there with Bitcoin. Now we would expect Bitcoin to move up or down in 1 year by 65.32%. So that's 1,596.53 points in a day, 3,514.6 points in a week, and 7,316.23 points in 1 month. So that's backed Bitcoin. So we've now looked at each of our 5 major world markets, and for each of them, we've looked at those 3 different elements. We've looked at market climate, which is where are the probabilities, up, down, or nowhere. We've used auto climate to help us with that. Did we have, and if we just change here to the dollar, just so we've got different examples. So when it comes to market climate, we used auto climate to check that out. And we looked to see, did we have a thick blue dot and therefore probability was upwards? Did we have a thick red dot and therefore probability was downwards? Or did we have a thin dot and therefore probability was nowhere? So we looked at that per market. Then we looked at buy and sell UFOs. Where do we have buyers and where do we have sellers that could push price up or down respectively? And then we looked at market volatility, which is how quickly we would expect these markets to move. So the last thing we now need to look at is our weekly economic calendar, which we get from fxstreet.com, and we filter by high impact news. Now what this does is it shows us what scheduled news reports are coming out within the next week or so that could impact the markets and increase volatility. That's helpful to know because increased volatility can increase risk, could also increase reward, which is why we want to know about that as traders so that we can decide from there. So today being Friday, this is in US time, so just after midday, so 12:30 Eastern time, we've got news coming out that might affect the European markets. And at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, we have news coming out that could affect Canadian markets. So if you trade in those countries or you trade those currencies, be aware of that coming up. If you have any questions, you can email me, becky@tradictive.com. But like I said, the best place to go is tradewithufos.com/Becky. And you can come here, get different apps and platforms, some of which are free. You can book one-on-one coaching if you'd like. And you can scroll down here, log in for free and ask questions in this public area so that we can then answer it there and then everybody learns from that same place. So today is Friday, so I've got a stock session later on today, so I'll see you guys there if you're joining me on that. If not, have a great end to your trading week, a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.